quite some time. I was one of the city councilors who introduced the resolution back in 2013 opposing the basing. Unfortunately, that was voted down. Certainly voted to put on the question that went on the petition and that went on the ballot 2 town meeting days ago. And that was one of the facets of the conversation that I found particularly interesting today, is this notion that we know that almost 3,000 homes will be directly impacted by this basing and will be rendered uninhabitable for human use by the basing. Yet we do not have a plan in place as to how we're going to render those homes habitable, meaning that there's not a plan to soundproof these homes. And moreover, we don't have a source identified as to how the 10% local match that is required in cases in order to soundproof these homes will be attained. So the reason I mention this is because Burlington voters roundly and by a pretty sizable majority opposed this basing 2 town meeting days ago. I know my constituents in the Old North End were really strongly opposed to this basing, and so it feels incredibly unfair and irresponsible, honestly, that we would not have a plan but be bringing a harm to our community for which we do not have a remedy. For which we do not have an identified funding source, and for which people who in a democratic society said that they did not want are to have to shoulder that burden feels deeply, deeply unfair and unjust. And so that was a facet of the conversation that was perhaps most frustrating for me, was that aspect. I would say the other piece today that I found very frustrating was this idea of safety. You know, one of the demands is that the plane has at least 1 million hours of flight time on it, and that jet right now it has about 100,000 hours. So we brought a number of safety concerns around this jet, and what we didn't get really more than sort of opinion with regards to the safety of these jets. We've heard time and time again, seen countless examples of these jets failing, being unsafe, and so I'm deeply, deeply concerned for our communities that a jet that is not properly tested, that we know is unsafe, will be based here, because this is a densely populated area, and to have a jet here that's not tested, that could potentially crash, could have really dire impacts for our community. So those were some of the aspects that I found particularly concerning. I think the other piece that was frustrating to me as an elected official is also that, we went up there and we weren't even allowed in the office. They met with us in the hallway, which just felt very disrespectful to us. It wasn't like they even asked our motives or anything like that. We were just left in the hallway the entire time to meet with them. And in our conversation, we also continued to press on the idea that the community needs to be involved in this conversation. And at no point was the representative or the senator able to actually cite a case where the senator had met directly with residents of South Burlington, Winooski, or Burlington on this issue. And again, in a democratic society where you have this representative government, it's incumbent upon representatives, when issues like this arise, to meet with their constituents. And that unfortunately did not happen in this, and they admitted as much. And what's more is that there was not an opportunity to meet with them again. We were told that basically our request to meet with the senator would be conveyed to him, and that he may or may not choose to meet with us. But I know that our colleagues in South Burlington have made countless attempts to meet with the senator and have been unsuccessful for years. So that's not surprising, but it's still just as unfortunate. So, but like Councilor Hansen said, I think that we absolutely need to keep up the pressure. I think that it's incredibly inspiring to me and to others. I have to say that in some ways, prior to this recent uptick, that I was very pessimistic about this, in the sense that I've been fighting for years on this, but seeing people like yourselves come out time and again and be so motivated on this and show your dedication has been really inspiring to me, and has made me continue to want to do more and to be part of this movement. And I think that one thing that we can, I think, maybe not take solace in, because it's going to be pretty difficult for people in the flight path, but I think that once people start to understand and really feel the impacts of this, and it's not just a theoretical possibility that they might come, but when people actually start to feel the impacts, I think that the conversation is going to shift, and it's going to shift very quickly, because this is going to be a very serious impact on our community. And once people start hearing how loud these things are, start hearing them taking off, landing, flying around our communities. It's going to be a really sad and unfortunate impact, and I think that that's going to change the conversation. So the more that we can do to stay involved and to stay positive on this and to continue to work together on this, I think the better. So thank you for being here again. I look forward to working with folks on this and very much appreciate all the organizing that you all have done on this.
Thank you.